choice? Fractions? Of course you have a choice. There's multiple ways to solve things. Let's look at 2 strategies for comparing fractions. My first strategy is that I can compare fractions by getting a common denominator, meaning I'm making the size of my pieces identical so I can compare which one's more or which one's less. Or I can use a trick called cross multiply, which I'll show you, which basically allows us to compare which size is greater without having to make them equivalent or equal. So, which do I want to choose? Let's look at what they look like. All right, so here I have 2 fractions. I have 8/2 and 6/3. Now, based on what I know about making improper fractions into mixed numbers, let's start by doing that because I think it might help us in comparing once we learn the mathematical ways. Remember, fractions are division, so I have 8 divided by 2. Well, what is 8 divided by 2? It's really 4. So I have 4 wholes here. And here I have 6 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Isn't 4 greater than 2? So this is what I should find out by using my 2 strategies. So let's look at strategy 1. All right. Okay, I have 8/2 and I have 6/3. Now when I deal with fractions, I like to line them up vertically and I like to show my work horizontally. So vertical is up and down and horizontal is across the page. I need to find a number that both 2 and 3 have in common. So I can do this by looking at my multiples. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So 6 is my common denominator because it's what both denominators have in common. It's what I can make my pieces into to make them the same. Okay, so what did I multiply to 2 to get 6? I multiplied 1, 2, 3. So I need to multiply this by 3 to show that's how I got 6. And what I do to my bottom to make the pieces the same, I now have to convert to the top. So I need to multiply this by 3 so that my pieces stay balanced. The amount of pieces I have should stay the same size or equivalent to what I'm comparing as my denominator, my whole. Now let's check ourselves. 24 divided by 6 should be 4. Is it? It definitely is. Okay, so here I have 3. I multiply 3 by 2, and that's how I got 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. And 6 times 2 is 12. And if I check myself, 12 divided by 6, it's still 2. So now I can compare my pieces. Which one has more? The 24 or the 12? Because my denominators are the same, I can compare my numerators as whole numbers, essentially. So 24 is greater than 12. Therefore, 8/2 is greater than 6/3. All right, strategy number 2. I'm comparing 8/2, and in this case, I'm going to write my 6/3 right next to it because I'm going to do what's called cross multiply. So I'm taking my bottom number and I'm multiplying straight across. I'm taking my bottom number and I'm multiplying straight across. So I get 2 times 6, which equals 12, and 3 times 8, which equals 24. Hey, look, that's what our strategy 1 ended up coming out to. This 24 is the same as 24, and 12 is the same as 12. So by cross multiplying, I'm essentially coming up with equivalent fractions, or fractions that have equal denominators or equal pieces. So again, I'm going to compare, and based on the fact that 24 is larger than 12, I'm going to say 8/2 is greater than 6/3. And that is how you compare fractions. So go ahead and play, pause, and repeat as you practice to make sure you truly understand how to compare fractions.